Hi, and welcome to this 30-minute yoga practice. I'm Andrea, so glad you've joined me. I'm standing on a yoga mat, and I'm going to be moving this yoga mat around a little bit so that you can best see me. If you just face me, you're going to see me the best, I'll see you the best. I will do the moving, you don't have to. And you don't even have to have a yoga mat unless you have one handy. All I ask is that you find a place that's not too slippery. Probably a carpeted floor would be a good idea. In this practice, we will be using our chair a fair amount. So it's good for you to have a chair because we're actually going to do things that involve a chair. I have a folded blanket. I recommend one for you as well. Your throw blanket from your couch will be fine. And then I've got 2 blocks, maybe sturdy books at your house. All of those are great things to have for our practice. And then let's meet in Tadasana, mountain pose with your feet hip distance. We'll stand in our mountain and find our majestic and beautiful posture here. And we'll stop for a moment so that we can start. Feet in the earth, crown of the head extending to the sky like a mountain peak. Turn your palms away from one another so that your collarbones smile open. And let your gaze be at the horizon, chin parallel to the ground. Begin to breathe just through your nose, and ideally from now until the end of our practice, you'll breathe through your nose. Of course, breathe any way that you can. Just see if you can bring a little awareness to your breath. Let it be part of the recipe for slowing things down. Adding to our mountain, inhale, arms out to the side, thumbs to the sky, a V shape. And then exhale and float your arms alongside you. Just see if you can coordinate. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, let them float alongside you. Twice more, inhale. Exhale, palms face out. Inhale, V shape. Exhale, palms face out. Now this time, with a little bend in your knees, inhale your arms forward, palms face down, and then extend them alongside you like you're pushing the air behind you. Inhale, and exhale just once more like this. Inhale, and exhale, adding on. Inhale, exhale, twist a little bit like almost a Tai Chi move to the right. Bring yourself back to center. Keep that gentle bend in your knees. Lower the arms. Bring them back up in front of you. And then almost like we're in Hawaii and doing a hula dance, over to your left and back. So down and then in front of you to the right and then in front of you. Kind of rhythmic, little bend in the knees, little uplift of the belly to support our twist. And just notice that as you keep breathing, your twist is happening at the waist, even though our arms are also involved in our twist. We'll do each side one more time. So down the middle and to the right, and then down the middle and to the left. Now, come back to our mountain pose, palms turn out. Inhale, V shape overhead. Exhale, hinge at your hips, hands to your thighs. Inhale, press into your thighs a bit and lengthen out the crown of your head. Exhale, a little bit more hinge in your hips. And then inhale, arms out to the side, V shape. Float the arms alongside you, turn the palms out. Again, like that. Inhale, arms out and up, a V shape. Exhale, hinge at your hips, hands to your thighs. Inhale your heart forward. Exhale, increase the hinge at the hips. Inhale, arms out and up, a V shape. And then float your arms alongside you and turn your palms away. Adding on, inhale, arms out to the side, a V shape. Exhale, hinge at your hips, hands to your thighs. Inhale your heart forward. Exhale, increase the hinge at the hips. Now this time, take your arms out in front of you. Keep a little bend in your knees. Turn it over to the right. Come back to center and twist it over to the left. Come back to center, V shape overhead, and then stand into your mountain. Once more like that. Arms out to the side, a V shape overhead. Exhale, hinge at your hips, hands to your thighs. Inhale, more length into your spine. Exhale, a little bit more hinge into the hips. Keep the bend in your knees, take your arms in front of you. Just turn at the waist with your arms, doing a little hula, and then back through center, turn at the waist to the left. Come back to center, keep the bend in your knees, V shape overhead, and then stand with your palms facing out into your mountain. Again, adding on, bend your knees for chair pose, thumbs to the sky. Straighten your legs and pause. Once more, chair pose, thumbs to the sky. And then stand back into your mountain. Now this time we add, bend the knees for chair pose. Stand, bring your right knee towards your chest a little bit. So just a little balance challenge. Hip distance, chair pose, V shape. Stand onto your right leg. Bring your left knee towards your chest a little bit. We'll do that 2 more times. Bend your knees, thumbs to the sky. Knee towards your chest. You're standing on your left leg. Right knee is the one that's bent. And then we come back to our chair. Stand and let your left knee come towards your chest. Doesn't have to go very high. Back to a chair pose, and ultimately back to standing in our mountain. This is the part where we would like to now use our chair. I'll move mine in front of me a bit. I never want to move it where you can't see me. Just keep facing me. Stand back into your mountain. Chair pose. Bend your knees, thumbs to the sky, V shape. Now this time, see if you can maybe, with the assist of the back of your chair, step your right foot now onto your chair. Once you're there, get situated and hug the outer left hip in, and then turn to your right like we were doing as hula dancers, but we're going to pause for a moment, and there's a little bit of balance, isn't there? Keep breathing, even though we slowed things down. And then come back to center. I like to use the back of my chair to step right foot hip distance into our mountain. Second side, use the base of your chair if it's helpful. First we take our chair pose, V shape overhead, and then perhaps using your chair, knee to the chest, and then left foot onto your chair. Now tend to the business of hugging the outer right hip in, thumbs to the sky. We'll take a little turn to the left. And it can be very little. You want to keep that outer right hip hugging. Make sure you're breathing the whole time. You could have your hand on the base of the chair or the back of the chair the whole time. Your foot's on the base. 2 more moments. And then unwind. Maybe use your chair. Take your left foot hip distance from your right. Return to a chair pose, V shape. And then stand into your mountain. We'll do that 1 more time, and I'm going to give you some options to play with, and they're always optional. You're the expert of your own body. I am simply a guide. Bend your knees for a chair pose, V shape. Bring your right knee towards your chest and probably place your hand on the back of your chair. Make sure that you've got the outer left hip hugging in, so we're not sassy and sticking that out. Thumbs to the sky. Begin to turn, turn, turn. Stay sturdy and steady and breathing. This is plenty. If you wanted to, you could just a little bit experiment with getting lighter on that right foot. Maybe it even comes off your chair a little bit. But we have to keep the sturdiness and the focus and the breath, and then come back to center. Use the back of your chair. Step your right foot hip distance. Chair pose, thumbs to the sky. Stand it up. Find the back of your chair. Take your left knee onto the base of your chair, the bottom of your chair, thumbs to the sky. First we hug that outer right hip in, and then we just playfully turn. We want to make sure that this stuff is fun, or else we won't do it very often, and consistency is key. Totally optional to play with lifting your left foot now off of the chair a little bit. It doesn't even have to come off, right? You just feel it's a little bit different when you get lighter and you're not dependent upon it, and you might be doing that with a little turn and your hand on the back of your chair. Now come back to center, take your hand to the back of your chair so that we're careful as we step left foot hip distance. We'll take one more chair pose, bending your knees, V shape overhead, and then stand, turning your palms away from one another. This is the part where I move my mat and you don't need to. I'm also going to move my chair out of our way. Step wide out onto your mat. That's why I'm turning mine a little bit so that you can see me better. And then measure. Measure so that your ankles are underneath your wrists, thumbs to the sky so we're not scrunching our shoulders into our ears. And then turn your right leg out so that your right foot is facing the short edge of your mat, and cheat your left heel back so that it's at a 45-degree angle. Bend your front knee. Just make sure that there's a vertical line from your knee to your ankle. So I often need a little bit more space, and you might benefit from that too. Thumbs stay facing the ceiling, low belly is lifting, and you feel your right hip hugging underneath you. So we have a little bit of a different thing going on in that front hip than when we were in our chair pose. Take your right forearm like a karate chop against your thigh. Keep the left thumb up to the sky, and then check on a few things. We're not collapsed into our right shoulder, and this is actually a twist too, turning your right ribs to the sky. 3 moments where we are now, standing solidly into your right heel. Keep breathing. Let it be okay for me to be quiet from time to time. Then you can listen to what's important, your sensations and breath. Go slowly back up to Warrior Two with your thumbs to your sky. Why not? Straighten your front leg. Turn all toes to face the long edge of your mat. And from there, second side, turn your left leg to face the short edge of your mat. Cheat your right heel back, thumbs to the sky. We should be pretty well measured since we just did the other side. And then bend into that front knee and think to yourself, left hip hugging underneath you. Left thigh feels a little magnetized to the left side of your mat. Back leg working. Left forearm across your thigh. Right thumb stays up to the sky. No scrunching, no collapsing. Majestic mountains, even though we're warriors at the moment. Karate chop that left forearm and turn. We've got a little bit of a twist happening. Left ribs to the sky now. Build it from the ground up, standing into your left heel. And now I get quiet. Let the sensations and your breath dance together. Let that be much more interesting than what I have to say. 2 more moments, you're doing great. Now slowly, back upright, thumbs to the sky in our Warrior Two. Straighten your front leg and turn all of your toes to face that long edge of your mat. Heel toe, until you're hip distance and you feel solid and we can move once again. I will be moving my mat, and if you have blocks or your too thick books, those are going to come into play. You're also welcome to use the base of your chair if that turns out to be the better way to roll for you. So let me adjust my mat a little. We'll stand at the front edge. So if you're not using a mat, just imagine that you've got one. And we'll situate the 2 blocks out of our way, but off the sides of our mat here. And the chair in the front, so in case we want to use that. Inhale, V shape overhead. Exhale, hinge at your hips, hands to your thighs. Inhale your heart. So we've got length and space. Hands can go to the base of your chair where they might remain, or take your hands onto your blocks, but no heads lower than hips. So make sure that wherever you're placing them, you're not getting too low. Step your left foot back, and now we're in a lunge. You can have your hands on the base of the chair or the seat of your chair. Hands can be on your tall blocks. Think to yourself, right hip back and left hip forward a little bit. Left hand stays on your chair or on your block, and we just start to turn carefully. Open thumb to the sky with your right hand. Keep a bend in the front knee. 2 moments here. You don't have to take it very far. And then return. Right hand to your block or both hands to the chair base. Step carefully with your belly firm, your left foot hip distance from your right. Hands to your thighs. Inhale some length into your spine. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Inhale, rise, V shape overhead, and then stand in your mountain. That was great. Second side, bend your knees. Chair pose, V shape overhead. Hands to your thighs. Let an inhale lengthen your spine. Hands come to the base of your chair or to your tall blocks. Just make sure that you're present as we step back. Right foot steps back this time, and left foot is forward in our lunge. Let your left hip draw back and your right hip draw forward, and see if you can keep that length through your spine and your breath steady in this new situation. 2 more moments while we just get our druthers, and then right hand stays on the block or right hand on the base of your chair, and we just turn like an experiment that we're not taking too far. Just a little twist, just like life has twists and turns, and we want to be mindful and graceful and not forceful as the twists and turns show up. 2 more moments here. And then unwind left hand onto your block or both hands onto that chair base. Lift your low belly, step your right foot hip distance from your left foot, hands to thighs. Inhale, get long. Exhale, a little bit more hinge at the hip. This time keep your knees bent. We'll head back to a chair pose on the way out, and then stand into your mountain. Pause. One more little shenanigan. Bend your knees, chair. Hands to your thighs. Inhale, heart extends. Keep that length. Hands to the base of your chair or to your tall blocks. Step your left foot back. Now this time turn your back foot on its side and begin to straighten your front leg, but this is very important. You're not letting your head get lower than your hips. Super, super important. You may want a little bit more sideways space. You can step your right foot to the right, your left foot to the left. You could have both hands on the base of your chair, and I bet a lot of us, maybe most of us, have a bit of bend in that front leg. It's tight terrain, so that's fine. Let it be. Now begin to think about a turn with your left hand on your block, your right thumb to the sky, and if that's too much, just stay with the forward fold. It's okay. Maybe your twist and your turn are more in your imagination. That's a good place to twist and turn, don't you think? Couple moments here, still breathing. Let your shoulders relax out of your ears. If I think of spitting my inner upper arms away from each other, that helps. And then remember, right hip back, left hip forward, so we're not sticking our butt out to the side. Now unwind. Right hand to your block, spin on your back toes, bend your front knee. Your hands can be on the base of your chair or on those blocks. Firm through your belly first, and then step left foot hip distance, hands to thighs. Inhale, grow long. Exhale, fold. We'll do our chair here again. So keep your knees bent, thumbs to the sky, V shape, and then stand into your mountain. You're doing great. This is a lot. One more time, one more side. Bend your knees, chair pose, thumbs to the sky. Hands to your thighs. Inhale, get some length, and keep that length as you place your hands on the base of your chair or your tall blocks. Step your right foot back. First, we're in a lunge, and then we start to carefully turn the back foot flat and slowly move the front leg towards straight, and nobody's head is lower than their hips. So we want to be really careful with that. A couple moments here. Now keep your right hand on your block or base of chair, and then just start to turn carefully towards your left and pause. Remember that this twist and turn could be imaginary. 2 more moments with your left hip drawing back and your right hip drawing forward, and shoulders out of your ears. And then unwind your left hand onto your block. Spin onto your right toes, firm through your belly first, and then step your right foot hip distance from your left, hands to your thighs. Inhale, grow long. Exhale, hinge at your hips. Chair pose, V shape overhead. Stand into your mountain. We'll make our way onto the floor. Half Sun Salutation will get us there. So inhale, arms out to the side of V shape. Exhale, hinge at your hips and bend to the knees. Inhale your heart forward, and then hands on the base of your chair or hands onto your tall blocks. Move slowly and come onto your knees. I will now move my chair so that you can better see me. I'll move my blocks. And I'm gonna move my mat, you don't need to, but what you do want is to now find a folded blanket. So a folded blanket where we will sit. I like mine to be pretty tall. And then once we're seated, cross-legged seat, let's cross the right shin in front. And it's not so much a cross at the ankles. Walk your feet so that your ankles and your knees are lining up. And then place your hands on either side of you and think about our mountain pose. Let yourself be very tall in the saddle. It's where the folded blanket comes in handy, so we're not super rounded. Smile your collarbones open. And think back to our very first movement. We'll add it here. Thumbs to the sky. Turn to your right and pause. And it won't go that far because we're not using any leverage. We're just using those side waist muscles called the obliques. And we're inhaling tall and exhaling a little into our twist. Come through center like we did when we were standing, and now just turn the whole thing over to the left. We're still not using any leverage. We're inhaling tall and exhaling into our twist. And we'll linger for a little while and nerd out a little on our obliques, our side waist muscles. 2 more. Now come down the middle, just let your hands rest into your lap for a moment. We'll do that one more time, and this time we will use leverage, and you can see the difference. Thumbs to the sky, turn to your right. Now take left hand to the outside of your right thigh and either weave your right hand behind your back, or sometimes on the ground or on a block feels good. And now every time you inhale, grow tall. Every time you exhale, there's just extra encouragement with that loving nudge into your twist. We're not trying to crank ourselves anywhere. But you can probably get a little bit further because there's leverage. 2 more. Now, gently unwind. Thumbs to the sky, turn to your left. And then add the leverage here, right hand on the outside of the left thigh, left hand behind you. Inhale, grow tall. Exhale, little loving nudge into the twist. Keep that up for a few cycles of breath. So excellent. Gently unwind. We'll uncross and recross. So lean back, let your legs waggle out in front of you for a second. Then cross your left shin in front, and remember we're looking to cross so that the knees and the ankles align. Now we're going to just let ourselves be. I say that like it's easy. It's simple, often not so easy. If you're comfortable closing your eyes, do that. Or just gaze at the ground with a soft gaze. Now all twists and turns are going to be in our minds, and they will happen. We're going to see if we can actually settle into something that feels a little less like a twist and a turn. Instead, let it be rise and fall of breath. A full minute of seated meditation here together. That was excellent. You're welcome to stay seated in meditation to finish out our practice if you prefer it. If you enjoy Shavasana final meditation, start to make your way off your cushion. Lie down on your mat or on your carpet. Let your knees knock knee in on each other with your feet as wide as your mat. And then if it's comfortable, shimmy your shoulder blades underneath and either stay here or extend one leg and then the other leg into your Shavasana final meditation. Let your eyes close, maybe even cover them. Another minute of silence together. Start to deepen your breath. Maybe move your fingers and toes a little bit. If you like a stretch in your Shavasana, you can reach your arms and legs away from each other. If you're in seated meditation, stay where you are. We're on our way. Those of you on your back, bend your knees. Roll gently to either side. Use the strength of your arms to bring yourself up to a comfortable seat, which could be back on your perch. Palms up or down. Just take a moment to digest what we've done. And to maybe set a little intention that when the twists and turns out there inevitably happen, you feel like you now can embody grace, balance, and ease. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I'm Andrea, and I look forward to us doing this again soon.